In this episode, we're talking about building out multiple Airbnb short-term rental units at once, so stay tuned. Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. This show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show. Hey, welcome back, Host Nation, to another episode of Vacation Rental Machine. I'm Julian Sage, and I'm with John Bell, and we are talking about building out multiple properties at the same time and how you can do this at scale. So, John, when you're working with apartment complexes and landlords and you're structuring these deals so that you can get multiple properties all at once, what does that look like when you're trying to build them out at the same time?
All right, host. First of all, you pretty much just introduced yourself to a certain level of craziness. How do you get through it? Follow these steps. So step one is definitely have your design together. You want to make sure that somebody has either went out, either you or your designer, preferably a designer, has gone out, taken a look at the unit and has put together your design selections for all of the apartments. Hopefully, if you've been following what we've been talking about, you've done this before you've taken acquisition of the actual apartment or home or whatever it is. That way you have some lag time to get items ready to go or to the property on the day of move-in. This is crucial when you're trying to do things with some speed. All right. So you got the designer stuff there. The second thing is to place the order about 4 days ahead of move-in date. Now, some items will get there a little bit early, and what I found out is if I just talk to the landlord, I can ask them just to say, hey, I ordered this thing. It's arriving a little bit early. Can I put it in the apartment? Can I put it in the home? I don't even want access to it. You can do it yourself if you like. In some cases, they actually just give me the keys. Sometimes they go move in the item themselves. So that helps, right? In this step, you want to make this one your centralized hub. That way you have everything in one spot. One apartment is the one that's going to have all the boxes, all the mess, and the other apartments are just a little bit neater while you move stuff over into it, right? You want to make sure that they're going to get set up first, right? These are probably going to be your first units online. That last apartment that you're storing everything is going to be your very last apartment that comes online. So you just want to make sure that you keep the other places as clean as possible so your photographer can get there as early as possible. Step 4 in this whole process is to actually finish each apartment. I prefer to go and finish apartments completely one by one and not necessarily all at the same time. If I'm working with only one crew, I just want to make sure, hey, we knocked out apartment number 1, it is done. If we knocked out number 2, it's done. Number 3, it's done. Number 4, it's done. That way, we are completing things and we're not just keeping everything at the same status just by going to say, hey, put the bed together there, put the bed together at this apartment, would do this over at this apartment. That just seems to draw things out, in my opinion. So for me, the next step is before it's completely done, I have scheduled the cleaners to come clean the unit. It's very important that they know that this is a move-in clean. That means there's just going to be some extra stuff in my case, right? There's going to be some boxes that they might have to move out. There's going to be like some, the little white things that come out of the packages, styrofoam. That's going to be everywhere. That stuff is hard to get out of a hardwood floor. So you want to make sure that you get a couple of cleanings in right before it goes live. You want to make sure as soon as you schedule the cleaning that you scheduled your photographer. Oh, I even forgot a step. You need to make sure that the Comcast or whoever your utility person has already turned on all this stuff beforehand. So that's step 0. Before you sign, you need to already have this stuff kind of lined up. You know your move-in date, so make sure that they arrive the same time you get there. Last step in this process is to make sure that your photographer comes out. As soon as you get the photos back, you either have started setting up the listing and you're just waiting for photos, or you're going to do it as soon as you get them back from the photographer. Keep in mind, the quicker you're at market, in this scenario, the faster you are getting money. If you were able to pick up that apartment with some incentive, like a free month of rent, this time, when I know that, it takes me 4 days for a build out because I know the quicker I finish it, the faster I start making money and I get ahead of this whole thing, right? I got a free month of rent. That's like an extra unit to me. That's key, right? We're talking about scalability. I just got the down payment and acquisition cost for another apartment in the first month of me actually having a new apartment. Hopefully you heard that and understand what that means.
John, what you just shared is really key, because when you are working deals out with these apartment complexes and these landlords, and you're saying, hey, I'm going to come up to you and I'm going to rent out a bunch of rooms, but let's see if we can work out a deal where maybe you can get the first month's rent because you are filling that occupancy. What you said, though, was that if you do get, let's say, something like first month's rent for free, then you're trying to get that unit up in the first 4 days, because after that, you could essentially get another unit, and you might even be able to say like, hey, I can pick another unit up. Or you might have been already accounting for those 5 properties. Maybe you really only had the budget for 4, but because you're already counting how much growth you're going to be doing in the future with with that property, you're already accounting those maybe 2 additional properties, if that's what I'm understanding, John.
You got it. I mean, you could use those funds for anything. It could even just be what you need to even buy the furniture. In some cases, I rent furniture just to make sure that my cash flow is right. But I rent the furniture on my first couple of units. That way, when I start getting in the revenue on that free month, I could buy the furniture for the rest of all of the other units. It just helps with things like that. It's really important that if we're operating and running this business and we're scaling, that we run it in an efficient manner where we're not going too cash poor just to get the next deal, but we're being wise with the projections of cash that are coming in.
So question of the day, how many properties are you going to be picking up at the same time? Leave it in the comments section down below. And until next time, Host Nation, keep on hosting. Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.